everyone, and welcome again to the Next Level Podcast. I'm Carm, and I will be your guide on this sorta journey. No, not sortie, but a sad moment that we won't have sortie journey that we'll be taking today, talking about the August update. But of course, I'm joined as always by my lovely and talented co-host, FFXI. How are we doing today?
I am just as bummed out as you are that Sortie is not available. I mean, at least we got to see what all the Empyrean +2 and the earrings are. I mean, we don't have the augments yet because the event's not out to provide us the augments, but at least we got our first glimpse at the new stuff.
But it's like kind of a cock tease to where you see all this stuff and you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And you're like, oh, wait, can't do that yet. But it's here. Like, it's coming. I don't want to be like a complete Debbie Downer about it because it is, as we always say, a 20-year-old game and they're giving us new content and new upgrades and stuff like that. So you have to look at the bright side of things. And at the end of the day, we just have to be happy that the game is still going to the next level of Empyrean armor.
I'm just kind of curious what exactly the augments are going to be because they restricted the earrings to the right ear only, which means you can't utilize multiple earrings on a single character.
I also favor my left, so I'd really like them to like. They kind of like assumed my ear preference, whether I want to prefer my right ear or my left ear. So I kind of take offense to that one.
Wow. I didn't know you had an ear preference.
I mean, even with boobs, you kind of go left all the time, right? Don't you have a favorite boob?
I'm not getting into this subject.
I mean, everyone kind of has a direction they go. Like, I mean...
Okay.
Anyway. I mean, sometimes you just gotta take a moment and appreciate the left things in life. But anyway, how have things been going for you? After you completed that third shield, I stole your thunder.
You did steal my thunder with the shield, and I think you just wanted my really long pause to be over with by now. So I did finish it, and I haven't done any crafting since I finished it. I kind of was like,
right.
I need a mental break. But I was talking to Mer about combining our metals together in order to try making some of the SU5 items. But I noticed I also am missing some of the stub craft +1 items that I can get from the guilds. So I might, before doing that process of making the weapons, go back to those other guilds, sign up for them, do their guild points every day until I can buy their +1 items. Just so that way I can have them equipped to help raise my HQ rate with raising up my sub closer to those thresholds.
And somehow that sounds exciting to you.
I like finding things. I like seeing the bright animation of me HQing something. Although I'm probably going to be really sad because I'm probably going to...
The epilepsy you get from seeing it?
No, I'm probably going to cry a lot. Because I don't know if you know the HQ or the final shield, the enchantment says that you can only HQ. Now, technically, that doesn't stop you from normal qualitying. What it does is if you were to normal quality, you break instead. So I could continuously break and lose stuff.
Also, send us an email if you think, 1 for yes, 2 for no, that Claire will 100% cry when she signs her first SU5. It will be a momentous moment.
My thing that I cry all the time whenever I finish. I didn't cry when I finished my shield. I was so excited about it, but I didn't cry about it this time.
That's true. Okay. Well, yeah, there's that. I think you cried a little bit when you looked at your gil.
I had 100k when I was... And I had to borrow from you for a bit, and then every time I got the new week, it was just like, here, Carm, here's my gil, because I owed you so much afterwards.
It's all fun and games. But no, it kind of goes back to the fun of this game to where you get what you put in, and you put in a lot of time and effort into that shield that I would have never done. because I just can't get into crafting, as we all know. But it gave you exactly what you put into it, which it's really nice to see the rewards of the game just constantly giving back what you put into it.
Yeah, I think any additional shields I work on, because I have multiple crafters that have stage 4 shields already, that I think any of them I'll just buy spheres. I'm not going to go up against all the Asura bots and try to farm spheres that way. It was not worth it.
Yeah, the bots are kind of in some really inconvenient places, and it's kind of sad that they don't get rid of the ones that are inhibiting gameplay, but we're not going down that rabbit hole today. But in other news, what have I been doing? I've been doing a lot of things. Working on a lot of luas. Went over and like combed through my ninja lua with like a fine-toothed comb, I believe is the phrase that goes with it, and I really enjoy ninjas, so that was a lot of fun to just go through that and kind of take that moment to really update that from all the stuff that we've been getting in Odyssey, and we've been having a really good run at Odyssey as well. Just we took a break for so long because of real life and stuff like that, and just getting back into it. We've just had some really good progression. A lot of gear gotten upgraded, so that was nice to update. Updated my blue mage a lot. My blue mage is
Omen with blue mage.
Yeah, got to do some evasion tanking and some normal tanking as blue mage and Omen, which is fun. The build worked pretty well.
Yeah, you didn't get murdered. It was really good.
Truth, there was a lack of death.
There was a lot of laughing, and if people don't know, you can go watch. I think the video on demand is on Twitch right now.
The antics.
Where you could watch Karm laughing about how things are missing him so often on his blue mage in Omen.
Evasion's just kind of fun, like just doing things with evasion and kind of going a different route. It just gets. I don't know. It kind of gets boring after a while running around on Paladin and just seeing straight zeros. Once you're used to seeing straight zeros all the time, it's kind of like, okay, well, what can I do to make this more fun? So, and I needed blue cards, so going in as blue mage helps out. It still gets the same job done as Paladin, but I'm able to get cards as well and do different things and have fun with the game and play my own way, which is what everything is really about.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Speaking of Omen cards, we have the campaigns that are going on right now. It's a 2-part campaign. So the campaigns originally started on August 5th at 1 a.m. and the first wave will end August 22nd. There will be a new wave that starts August 22nd and will go until August 31st. But one of the things that's started already is the Omen card and Omen double light campaign. So a lot of people we took in on Wednesday in order to get some Omen cards, did an OU run, got Regal Gauntlets, which was awesome. And then we got Illibrant Ring, Kishar Ring, Era Pendant, and then double scaled. But it was still like very good runs with what we were going in with.
And it was also just TH4, so Treasure Hunter's a myth! No.
No Thief. That was also interesting. You have the Ambuscade Gallantry campaign going on right now, so you get double seal campaign, or sorry, double seal bonus on your Gallantry. So if you stack it, you can get up to 5 times when using the Abyssia seal, which is great on your first run. So definitely lots of people spamming an Ambuscade.
Yeah, the Ambuscade's pretty fun. It's interesting. Pretty easy though. Not really like challenging all that much, but the chaotic strike spam, that thing was real.
Volt strike spam, yeah. Volt strike spam is crazy.
He was definitely astral conduiting my face.
And if you guys haven't seen, we do have the Ambuscade videos up of us doing very well and then very terrible, but even the very terrible, you can still win easily. We had one where we accidentally messed up and woke up The doppelganger didn't terrorize it, and she just ran around the entire zone until she summoned all of her avatars. Luckily, we got Alexander as the last one she summoned, but it was still pretty crazy thinking that we still did the entire fight, even as if nothing was different, and could kill it in 10 minutes. Like, it was so fast.
Yeah, everything's pretty squishy in there. The accuracy check wasn't bad. Even offhanding TP bonus weapon, I didn't really have too many accuracy problems on blue, or definitely not on paladin. So, it's not really a hard ambuscade by any means, but it does. You do have to follow the way the fight is supposed to go. You can't just walk in there and not have the stuff that you need.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to experience that without being able to dispel the shock spikes somehow. That probably would be unfun.
Yeah, so needing either a paladin or blue mage to get rid of the shock spikes is probably really the only requirement. I mean, we did a run where we didn't take a healer, and then we did a run where we didn't take a tank, and still did just fine. I mean, it was really easy. Probably can take people that aren't as experienced and be able to still do that fight. Might take a little bit longer than us doing all the avatars in 10 minutes, but definitely something to think about. I also recommend poison pots for less geared individuals, so that way if Shiva is summoned, you don't get slept over and over again, or at least have somebody sub dancer that can wake you up.
Yeah, that's if you don't bring a paladin. So paladin kind of solves a lot of those problems.
Unless the paladin gets slept.
Then you typically get woken up, but you never know.
Another thing for new and returning players that's going on right now is we have the campaign magic skill, or combat and magic skill increase. So I know we released the video about easy access skill ups without utilizing books from Sparks. So this campaign definitely helps with increasing that skill up gain for both combat and magic skill. So a good time to get all your skills capped. Yes, I totally did that. Totally.
Yeah, that happened. That was the thing.
Also, for new and returning players, you have the chain EXP bonus for people that are just leveling up a new job, and then you have chain capacity points bonus for people trying to get master levels. Not to be confused with actual master levels for exemplar points, because that's
they hate
really
us.
confusing.
They don't want us to get master levels. They want us to suffer.
I'm still needing master levels. I'm really terrible. I need to actually go out and do a party sometime, or do like one of those magic burn one, or magic weapon skill ones down in Crawler's Nest.
Oh yeah, AoE cleave party, Alien Edge. Those would be good to do.
One of the campaigns I'm actually excited about is the Abyssia campaign, because I'm working on a few Empyreans. I have spread out.
Sure are.
I know, it's terrible. That I'm working on, so not having to worry about building up my Pearl or Zor Light is amazing, so that way I can go and get all of my key items or even pop items from gold box farming.
I'm excited for Delft, though.
For the Delft campaign?
Yeah, all the plasm that I need for Karm's Idris.
Oh, yeah. Get that double plasm. Definitely worth it. If you ever need a third character, let me know. I will pop in there for you.
Oh, I thought you were just going to do it all for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was totally just going to leave my characters outside the zone and let you just go in over and over again.
No. Because I'm not farming those rocks. I'm not farming those rocks. Are you kidding me?
I'll just give you the money to go buy the rocks a bunch of times.
Oh. No.
It'll be fun. It sounds like a good time.
I mean, I don't need plasm at all, so, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me.
Oh, it does things for you. You can sell it. You can buy the items and sell them.
That's true. So if anybody's looking for a nice way to make money, go to Delve, look up which Delve zone sells for the most, because a lot of people use them for relic upgrades, and some of them are used to pop enums in Escher Ruan. So definitely a good way to make money if you're not going for Idris or Apollo Tree for Rune Fencer in order to get that Plasm.
Yeah, Plasm is just straight money.
Yes. Another really nice campaign going on right now is the Surge Walk campaign, which is in Walk of Echoes. I need to go back and do that. I avoid Walk of Echoes. You can get the Wind Buffet belt +1. You can get the Flume belt, which you don't really need the +1 for Flume because the physical damage taken minus on it is the same on the normal quality as it is on the HQ. You just get defense on the +1.
Hey, but you gotta love them white boxes.
Oh, I know. I mean, I have a white box, but that's
So do
the story. For those Corsairs, you can get a Pixie Hairpin +1 to make your Leaden Salutes do lots of damage.
Or your Tenebo Crush.
Yep. Tenebo Crush for blues. And then you also can do the Mandy one. I don't remember which conflux it is, but you can get the Enchanter's Earring +1 for those that need fast cast on Earring.
Doesn't the hairpin also work for Cataclysm?
It does, yes.
So that'd be good for your alienage and your Cataclysm spam.
Yep, it's also good for Aspires and Drains.
Lots of things.
All the things.
Yeah, but the double Unity Accolade. Mm-hmm.
I wish it was the double box campaign.
I sure do as well.
But it's still really nice, because then you can still spam it just as often, because you get accolades so quickly. Like, I already spent all of my accolades, and they're already capped again. It was like, oh yeah, that campaign's totally going on right now.
Yeah. But don't forget the Adulendile campaign.
Nobody likes the Adulendile campaign. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that, because some people do still get JSE capes from them occasionally. I don't get them very often. I always get the air elixirs all the time.
Yeah, the Goblin boxes don't like me. They like other people. They don't like me, though.
We talked about this last time, how much they don't like us.
Yeah. But don't forget, our good buddy Osim is still alive and well. I wish they would have removed that NPC and replaced him with something else, but...
Somebody that gave you better dark matter.
Yeah, he's still here. There's still, apparently, in theory, there's a dark matter campaign going on. I trade my stuff, but it doesn't really tend to do much for me, so... But I do it every day, so... There's that.
I do want to remind people that the Wildscaper Reef's also going on, which is fantastic if you haven't done your Records of Eminence to get the capacity points increase from those. So instead of them being a 3-hour respawn timer, they're only 15 minutes. So you can do like a little circle around to get all of them. It's also really nice if you're trying to get Idris or Epilary, because it drops 4 HP builds every time you kill one of them as well, and you have a chance of getting a box, the aged box, which gives you more HP builds, so that can help you speed up the progress in regards to getting those for that too.
Yeah, and the boosted CP gain and all the XP gains and all the fun stuff that you get for doing the Circle of Doom.
And then for those that are farming Dynamis, like old school Dynamis, you get all of your time extensions already provided to you once you enter the zone.
Don't forget your procs. So that you can farm that currency.
Get all that currency.
We're going to do a Osim here live and in charge. We're going to see what he gives us here. Be on the edge of your seat for this fun stuff. It's going to be a great time. Cure potency +9. Don't need that. Just nothing of notable value. Repair potency +1%. Woohoo! Double attack +1%. Woohoo! Pet mine +10. That's what I want. Drain and Asper potency plus 11. That's kind of nice, just not on the body that I'm doing. And that's Osim for today. Woohoo! Okay, so at least we know Osim is staying the same and not doing anything that we want him to do.
Yep. So then, moving on in our campaign, we have the ones that are starting on August 22nd, which are all the plus for the chain EXP and chain capacity points. So you will be getting more capacity points and experience after the 22nd, all the way till the 31st.
Yeah. All the XPs. I swear I've got to finish Corsair this time.
Eventually.
I mean, I'm one good party away from finishing Corsair, so
Yeah.
I think I'll get it. Maybe.
So one of the ones that is continuing from right now, I guess I should say, is the Delft Campaign. So that one will be continuing past the 22nd into the 31st.
Yay!
They are adding bonus bailed, so you'll get more bailed when killing a layer, colonization, or Wildscaper Reef. So if you are running low from doing Sinister Rain or just buying Ionis over and over again and just didn't have a lot to begin with, that will definitely help you get more. A rare one that's starting, this one's really rare. I don't see it come up very often. For those that really want to try their hand at crafting, starting August 22nd, you have the double synthesis skill increase campaign. So you have
It's a trap.
You have a double increased chance of skill ups, which aren't as bad as they were at 75 days, but still very nice to have that campaign going on to get through all the subcrafts if you're trying to do that, as well as level a main craft to 110.
Maybe I'll one day finish my culinarian.
You
Arm
can make
looks
all
good
the
in a chef
food.
hat.
The poofy hat.
Yeah, Karm looks pretty good in a chef hat.
Another one that's continuing on is the Abyssia Campaign, so I will be busy all month trying to work on Empyreans. The Surge Walker's also continuing, as well as the Wildkeeper Reeve will continue on as well. Double Unity Accolades, the Adulan Dial Keys, those will also be continuing. One we forgot to mention that's going on right now is the Incursion Campaign. So they have a chance of increasing their drops by one additional item, so you have a chance of getting more coffers or the grand coffers from the bosses, and then either regular coffers to grand coffers from the little guys. That one will be going on all month as well.
And the Vagary campaign.
The Vagary
For
one's
extra
starting
etched
on the 22nd.
memories.
Uh-huh.
Since in the beginning, too.
Was it?
It's in the first one, too. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is much Vagary to be had.
Much Adulan campaign. All the Adulan stuff is going on.
Makes you wonder if the etched memories are going to be used for the Empyrean at all. There's a +2.
I don't think so, because they didn't mention it in the patch notes, and we'll talk about that when we get there.
You never know.
You never know. That is very true.
Oh boy, Dark Matter Plus. Woohoo, more chances to hate my life.
So you get 12 tries instead of the 6 tries that are currently going on?
Yeah, so I feel like I get more chances to just be down on Osim.
We got the high tier battlefield campaign ones going on, so you have a higher chance of getting an additional Pluton, Baitetsu, or Boulder, and their equivalent boxes or cases that come along with them. So go spam those if you need to upgrade or afterglow any Rimas or making any weapons from Oboro.
Oboro. More Dynamis. More Dynamis. Ooh, Statue Crusher. Don't forget Statue Crusher.
Yep, so you'll get additional currency, so you'll get either identification cards or medals every time you kill a statue in Dynamis.
The Almond Trove one's kind of cool. The gil awarded when a special reward activates will be increased to 10 million.
Woo! And so instead of 5 million, you get 10, which is still
10 million
I
gil.
would like that right now.
I would too.
So broke.
I wouldn't complain. I've only seen it once though, the 5 mil.
I think it was me. I think I got that.
It was. Yeah, you get like everything in Almond Trove, but then you give everything away.
Yep.
You get everything that other people need, not stuff that you. But you got the gill. You did get the gill.
And that went to the shield, and it was spent very quickly.
And every time I get a rainbow chest, I get absolute shit.
So definitely take a look at what's going on in regards to the campaigns, when the campaigns are affecting that you are wanting to do, because some of them do leave after the 22nd, and there are new ones that come on at the 22nd. And some of them are just continuing, so definitely take a look.
On the bright side, though, we all got some weapon skill damage ammunition.
Oh yeah, from the new missions? I haven't done them yet. How are they, Carm?
Pretty simple. I'm not gonna like throw any spoilers out there because spoilers are bad, but it's pretty straightforward. There's not really a challenge. The last fight is solo, but I don't really see it being an issue for anyone. It was a pretty simplistic fight.
So when you say solo, does that mean you can't be in a party or you can't use trust or both?
Both.
Ah.
Yeah, you can't take anybody else. You get assisted by some friends, though. The game gives you some friends, so if you don't have friends, the game gives you friends. So you can feel like you have friends, and it kind of looks like a party. I was really happy. This is the only spoiler I'm giving away, but in the cutscene, they do make a light skill chain. And so, like, the idea of skill chaining is still the way to go is alive and well in the game. Because I think skill chaining is really underutilized with Savage Blade being so popular and just melee zerging everything. It's like there's still some merit to be had with magic bursting and skill chaining, and we saw some of that in Odyssey, and I think some of the recent Odyssey fights we've done and the strats we've used have been really interesting and really fun.
Yeah, for sure. I really have been enjoying all the Odyssey runs that we've been doing and just really tinkering around with our jobs too and trying different mechanics. I know we've talked about actually releasing videos on us doing our V20s so that way we can help people just see like random smashed together jobs that make absolutely no sense sometimes, but making these clears like with ease with not having any issues at all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the V20 higher ones, you do need a pretty specific setup or close to what everybody is using. Everybody's pretty much using the same thing, but some of these tier 1s and tier 2s at V20, you can really kind of just mix it up. And if you're doing 3 times farms, you can throw in weird jump combinations and like really have fun with it. I at least have been.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, it gets me to pull out jobs that I don't get to play very often either, and just kind of be like, oh, yay! You know, just super excited about how to utilize it, or even just changing it up. Like I was talking to you since you were looking on Lua's, just some changes I was going to make to some of the ones I have as well too, and asking your opinion on if you think I'm just losing my mind and throwing things in there, or if it would actually be a viable thing.
Yeah. So can you tell me again how it went when you get to play those jobs? Was it in? Oh yay! Was
Oh,
it one of those?
yay!
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I got that one. I wanted to like visualize the excitement.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. I was actually really excited. I'm sorry if I didn't make it sound so excited.
So where in the world did we leave off in this?
So we're actually all done with the campaign. So we were talking about the update itself. So we have the Sorcery Event is added in, but again, like you mentioned, the NPC is currently not available. SE came out and said, "Hey, we were testing it. It was not viable. The difficulty was too high in their consideration, and decided to just pull the NPC." So the NPC is Russ Picks, and he's going to be available in Lefalia after an emergency maintenance in order to fix Sortie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but again, I'm glad that they're making it correct before they just release some garbage that can't be done, because I mean, didn't they kind of have that issue when they first released Miryu, and it was like nearly impossible for anyone to kill?
Yeah, they threw him out there and taking like the entire party and everything, and it was just we couldn't get him down at all. So then it would reset everything, and you were basically doing 3 to 4 dragons a day over and over again just to get that 100 domain evasion points.
Yeah, so to anybody that's like really upset with this, just kind of think about that mentality of it just wasn't a fun experience when it wasn't the way it was meant to be. And it really wasn't a good time. Like everybody just hated when Miryu would spawn, and you'd just be like, oh great, well, time to reset. Here we go. It wasn't fun. Like challenge is good. So I'm glad that they're taking the time and they're letting us know, and they're actually making sure that the content they release is where it needs to be. And with all the updates that they've done to Imperium Plus 2 and all the DT that they've added to the sets and all the different things that they have done, it's really kind of exciting in a way, because to me it says, okay, we're definitely going to need to be DT capped in whatever content they throw at us. I mean, we already need to pretty much be DT capped in most of these Odyssey fights and stuff like that, but for the newer content, there's just going to be more and more ways to cap DT, as well as get some other things available into DT sets and give those other jobs, like Red Mage is getting a lot of DT in their Enfeeble sets. So it makes me wonder, is there going to be really large AoE where that's going to hit where you're casting, and we need to be in DT when we're enfeebling and stuff like that? So it makes you wonder what the direction they're going with that is, because they're really nice pieces from what I've seen.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think they were looking at the perspective of new and returning players, because that's what they wanted this content to be able to have, is people can go in and solo it if they need to, if they don't have a group that they can join. Unlike Odyssey, where you really want 6 people in order to go do all the bosses, because eventually you'll just get stopped and you can't do any of the additional bosses without an actual party. So it's kind of nice that they're leaning a little bit on the less difficulty to allow people to gain this Empyrean armor, but at the same time, I'm sitting here as a player that's played so long, being like, I just want hard content. I want to have the difficulty, but I still have Odyssey that I can enjoy that in.
Yeah, I still think it'll be challenging. I don't think it's one of those things where you can just go in and raffle stomp your way through it, but we'll see what they do.
Yep, and they also mentioned how the reforging process is going to happen. So there's going to be 2 forms of currency. There's Galimafree and Rakaznar sapphires that are going to be obtainable from killing mobs in Sortie, as well as opening coffers that are going to be dropped from some of these mobs as well too.
Where'd you get the pronunciation?
I just said it. I don't know what the actual pronunciation is for that.
Because there's no R after the T, and I'm like, I get it.
For me saying Sortie, and I'm saying Sorcery.
Yeah.
I just keep fumbling it. That's my dyslexia coming in.
No, I was just wondering if that was like the actual pronunciation.
I was so... no idea.
It sounds a lot better, actually, because Sortie just sounds kind of weird. It sounds like kind of lame, but I like how you're saying it, so that's how I'm pronouncing it for the rest of my life. Sortie. Okay. It's Sortie. Hey guys, let's go do some Sortie. I mean, I'm down with it. I like that name. That maybe we'll start something and everybody will just be like, hey, it's called Sortie, not Sortie. Hey, we're doing some Sortie today. We're going to go out and do us some Sortie. We got all the boys together. It's Saturday night. It's for the boys. We're going out and doing some Sortie.
I thought you were talking about the currency at first, not how I was actually saying Sortie.
I got nothing.
I can't even say it right at this point anymore. It's kind of just ingrained in there. Instead of saying Sortie, I'm just...
It just sounds so... It sounds so childish, like Sortie. But hey, if it's cool new content, I don't care what it's called.
So they are still going to have the time restrictions on gaining tags for this event as well too. But I noticed in the patch notes they have this interesting mechanic, and I'm hoping it's going to happen the way I'm reading it, where if the 20-hour time has lapsed and you haven't picked up your new tag, essentially, every hour or every 5 hours that pass, you get an hour reduced on the remaining time on your next tag. So when you pick up that tag, the next one will be ready. And say if you didn't pick it up in 25 hours, it'll be in 15 hours after you picked up that tag to get the next one. It does
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it does cap at 20 hours though. So if like say you went a couple of days without doing the event, you can get reduced to where you pick one up and then you can pick one up almost immediately afterwards. That's how I interpreted what they were saying. But I am not exactly sure if that's how it's actually going to pan out.
It's interesting. Definitely. I'm excited to see the new stuff.
Yeah, me too. They did mention what the prereqs were for being able to do this event, and I was kind of surprised because I don't know if I was the only one that assumed Rhapsodies was going, not Rhapsodies, Resurgence needed to be part of the requirement because they kept saying you need to be so far in storylines, you need to be so far in storylines. You have to be up to chapter 5 mission, The Light Within in a Duelin, and you need to have the Scintillating Rhapsody, which is the final Rhapsody key item you get in Rhapsody's why am I getting my mission all of a sudden mixed up here? Rhapsody's Vanadil, so that Scarletite. Oh, Scintillating Rhapsody is from Rhapsodies of Vanadil, which is the final one in missions that way, but there's nothing indicating you need to be so far in Voracious Resurgence in order to do this content. Is what
because you have to have Lefalia access to even get in here. But yeah, that is interesting that there's no Voracious Resurgence, so I kind of feel like I just bum rushed all those missions for nothing.
I mean, you got a really good necklace. You got a new ammo piece. You got some really cool lock style pieces that could turn you into an Okpalu.
If you could see the look I'm giving you right now.
Just dead
Let me turn on my camera real quick so you can see.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting that they haven't done before is the person you get your key item from, basically your tag, is in Lefalia, but the entrance to this actual content is out in Khmer Drifts. So you will have to run back and forth between the two areas.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And I don't know if it's to help reduce the amount of people interacting with the entry point.
Lefalia isn't a really big zone in the first place.
Small. But I mean, it's just because I know one of the things they talk about is the congestion in zones where content is taking place. So I don't know if this was kind of their way of reducing that congestion. So there will be some people idling in Lefalia next to this NPC once he's loaded in. Or if they'll be hanging out in Khmer Drifts.
Yeah, you see all the ding-dongs that just consistently AFK by the Conflux and Rabao, and just that's all they do. As soon as like Rabao became like the place to be all of a sudden when Odyssey came out, so now Lefalia is just gonna get overrun with people. So I can see the idea because it's not, like we said, it's not a very big zone. So, but it is a cool zone. I'm happy that Lefalia is actually like being used for more than just baggery
and storylines.
I don't talk about storylines anymore. I'm done.
So with looking at more of the reward section for this new content, it sounds a lot, and it reminds me a lot of Incursion, where they talk about killing monsters has a chance of giving you old cases, and then you can open old cases to get materials or the new job-specific earrings that are going to have augments on them. So it'll be real interesting to see what augments we're getting, but what the rate of normal quality +1 and +2 earrings as well too, because there are those different levels. So is it going to be like super rare to get a +2? And if it is super rare, are the augments going to be even harder to get? Like that you're going to have to spam this even more often after even getting all your +2 items, or if they're going to make it to where, yeah, you get a lot of normal quality and +1s, but when you get that +2, like it's gonna have cap stuff sort of thing.
That'd be nice, but I don't expect that.
Is it because of OSEAM?
I almost wonder if there's going to be like another kind of currency that pops up like refractive crystals, where you can just like constantly augment the earrings over and over again until you get exactly what you want. It kind of makes me wonder, but at the same time, like you said with Incursion, you just keep popping boxes until you get the augment you need. So
Yeah, and I'm just going based off of the sentence they say, because they said, in addition to above, players can also obtain old cases which contain augmented job-specific earrings. So that's where I'm thinking that they're only going to come from these old cases and not something that you can eventually build up to, like with RP and everything on the other augmented gear and weapons.
it makes sense.
I know we talked about Ambuscade already. We didn't mention that they did make some changes. I know in our runs, we didn't really utilize these changes a whole lot. One of the changes that they did was the doppelganger is more susceptible to gravity and bind. So you have an easier chance of landing gravity. If you take a red mage in, you can gravity to it and have it run even slower. It does run at flea speed when you're on very difficult, so there's no rhyme or reason to chase it, because it'll just keep running around summoning avatars if you don't terrorize it or have some way of slowing it down. The other thing is that it has a resistance against all forms of damage. I know our warriors didn't use tomahawks. I don't think we had anything that helped change our damage output at all, and it still died real quick.
Oh yeah, it was squishy.
It was super squishy. They did do a repeat in normal Ambuscade, so in Volume 2, it is the 3 Malboros this time around to kind of celebrate the Sunbreeze festival that they have going on, which you can go purchase a Malboro apron, and I should have had it on. I don't. I'm really sorry for those that are watching this on YouTube. But somebody mentioned, they're like, it looks like a Starbucks apron. I was like, oh, it does. But it's basically the crafting aprons with a Marlboro picture on it, and it's just bright green, and it's so cool.
There is no celebration when Malboros are involved. They are awful creatures.
They did change that one up a little bit too. They reduced the 3 Malboros attack delay, or I shouldn't say decreased. They increased it, so it takes them longer to swing. So instead of 240 seconds, they have 320 seconds between their attacks. They also had their damage adjusted for their impale ability, so it was decreased from a 2.0 modifier to a 1.0, so it doesn't deal quite as much. The gold bomb will now appear when certain conditions are met. Since we haven't done Volume 2, I am not exactly sure what those conditions are, so I'm really sorry.
Interestingly enough, it says they've added something to Storage Slip 3. Do you have a Storage Slip 3?
I do have Storage Slip 3. I'm not exactly sure what they've added. I'll have to take a look. Well, I guess let me pull.
Yeah, I'm curious what they added to it, because
so Storage Slip 3 used to just be Campaign, Zenny, Void Watch, and Abyssia items. They've now added the Voracious Resurgence equipment to that slip.
That's kind of nice.
So all of those block style pieces that we were talking about, or if you have the necklaces and you're like, oh, I don't want to use the Sandorian one because I have no build for it and I'm not Sandorian, so I don't get the region, you put that one away. Or if you're like, I don't play any jobs that need magic attack bonus, so I'm going to put the Windurst one away. So that's actually kind of nice that they added that to Storage Slip 3 for those that use the port removal.
Yeah, it was tons of inventory space that I think when I finished, I went from like 33 out of 80 to 78. It was insane. I had so many things in my inventory.
Yeah. I think also kind of going back to Sortie, they said that there's new status ailments called Tainted and Haunted that are added, and they cannot be removed by white magic abilities or items. So I have a feeling there's going to be certain mobs that we're going to see in Sortie that will use these abilities or use abilities that do these status ailments, and we'll have to see how they affect a player and what they actually do.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some neat new stuff coming.
For sure. I know before we started recording, you were talking about one of the patches that they did was a way to reobtain the Rima pouches essentially for any of the guns and bows and crossbows.
Yeah, that is nice. If you accidentally drop your quiver, or drop your pouch, or anything like that, you can reobtain it once.
Yep.
It does say that it can only be done once, so don't like try it a bunch of times and test your luck. But if you make that one fatal mistake, then at least you can get it back.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is really nice that they did, and finally, because I keep forgetting that they don't have this, is under Currency 2, they added the domain points, domain points and the amount of domain points earned in that day. You can also see your MOG segments, so you no longer have to go to the Conflux and Rabao to be able to see those. And they also added Gallimafree, which is for Sortie once it actually is released.
Nice stuff.
Yeah, I kept forgetting what my domain points were and would always forget to go to Zurum in order to see them. So it's really nice that they added that to Currency 2 and MOG segments as well, like having to talk to the question mark with a whole bunch of people stacked on top of it and be like, oh, get through all the people, even with F8 can sometimes be a challenge. So being able to see my MOG segments is really nice.
Absolutely. Did they do this patch where they gosh, I completely lost my train of thought. When they remove the XP bonus or the XP loss or master point loss from Ambuscade, or was that a previous patch?
No, that was this one. So you no longer can gain or lose exemplar points in Ambuscade. So the mobs will no longer give you exemplar points, but at the same time, you don't lose them either. Which I'm a little sad about, because like last month, the reason people were upset that they were losing exemplar points was because one of the primary strats was to sacrifice a mage over and over again. So those mages, if they had exemplar points, were losing tons of exemplar points. While you have like this month's Ambuscade, where if you wanted to get exemplar points, like this would have been great, killing all those avatars that are super squishy and just soaking up all the exemplar points from them. Isn't a possibility. They did remove that on this update.
That would have been kind of nice, but yeah.
For new and returning players, they did increase the assist channel access. So if you have returned to the game, you have, instead of 48 hours, you have 240 hours of being able to talk in that channel. If you're beyond the 240 channel or 40 hours, the only way you can talk in the assist channel is if you are a mentor. So any veteran players or players that have played for a little bit, you can see about getting mentor status in order to be able to assist people in that channel.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are mentors.
No, we are in our own rights.
We used to be. I think when they changed the mentor status, because I had it way back when like all you had to do was play for an X amount of time and then you could talk to an NPC.
Yeah, I had it too.
But I don't have it now because I don't think I completed enough records of eminence that they require in order to get mentor status.
Right. Yeah, the login campaign is kind of.
Yeah. A login campaign is very helpful for new and returning players because you get a lot of trust from it with only 100 points required, and you get 100 points per day, so you have a chance to get all of the ciphers for those trusts. But they
Of
did
course,
repeat. Oh,
there
go
is
ahead.
a 1 damage sword again.
Yes.
Because now that I have a 1 damage sword, there will always be a 1 damage sword.
Yes. They also have the polearm that doesn't look like a polearm, looks more like a staff that's also available.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, you can also get the lion and Arciela statue. So if you're watching on our YouTube page, you can actually see the two statues sitting behind us on the right-hand side. So you have lion as the first one, and the Arciela one's all the way on the end. But they are repeating the 500 point ones, which is kind of nice because, like, I have a friend that wasn't playing last month or the last couple of months, and he came back and he saw me riding the noble chocobo. He was like, "Oh, I really want the chocobo," and I was like, "Oh, it was from a login campaign." Well, they're bringing that back, and he loves frogs, and so he's super excited about the the blue Pirogo outfit. So he's probably gonna pick that one up too.
Yeah, it's nice that they keep those around for a few months for the people that have missed it, per se.
Yeah, and then you also have some of the Summer Breeze outfits available in login points as well too. You have the fancy versions for both male and female in there. They also reusing the mounts so you can get the coral, the adamantoise, and the red raptor mounts are going to also be available. But other than that, yeah, there's really not a whole lot in regards to the login campaign. So a lot of veteran players probably aren't going to look for a lot of things in this month's login points, unless they do need like those damage one weapons that are available under the 300 points.
Yeah, a lot of the update got kind of sat on by the fact that there is no sortie released, but the fact that it's there still says a lot, and it gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to look forward to. So keeping the mentality high.
Yeah, I mean, what you and I were talking about just the Empyrean +2 the other day and just some of the things that they did to it. And I actually got kind of excited about the legs for Warrior because they have Fencer +3 on them, but they also have double attack. So before they still had the Fencer ability, it was like, okay, well, they don't I can't put them in my build, so I was using like the shield, the necklace, and occasionally my relic hands, depending on what set I was in, to be able to get that +3 for maxing out the trait. But now
Mhm.
you could change out your necklace to something else. You can use a different, like if you're dual, no, not if you're dual wielding, you can use a different shield. I know Blurred Shield is still very nice and you'd probably continue to use it, but you could change it up depending on what actually you're doing because you'll cap out for warriors at least with those legs and you don't have to decrease your DPS too much with changing into them. So like that was one of the things I thought was super cool.
Yeah, some of the samurai +2 pieces that I saw are really, really nice.
Only some. You kept sending me messages about them all day. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and some of the puppet masterpieces were really, really good. Um, I mean, yeah, once we actually get to see them on, they're actually in play and see how they interact into our gear sets and change things around. It's going to be interesting. Just all the different choices we're going to have and DT options as well. Like a lot of these pieces have a lot of DT on them, so it's going to cap our sets a little bit better. And it's Empyrean, so it's still going with. Looks like it's still seeming to go with the trend of accuracy attack for jobs that need it and things like that. So it's not so much like Naomi where it gives you a little bit of everything, but not. These are actually like suited to your job, it seems.
Yeah, I got excited about a couple of the white mage pieces. I was surprised that they did increase the amount that you get back in MP when using cure on the legs. I thought they were going to leave that at the number it was already at. And similar, like the Bard Empyrean, a lot of people were upset that they didn't add an additional song plus to any of those pieces. They're all still at +1. But with the white mage one, like I can change out my fast cast hat that's currently at 10% with the Eber's cap, which can save me some inventory space because they increased that. But I could idle in this Brialt instead with having region refresh, which kind of reminds me of the original relic. Like you would wear it for the region because there weren't a whole lot of pieces, but with it having region and refresh is also very nice with high magic evasion at that too.
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised that they didn't change any of the songs for Empyrean. It would have been I could see Ballad going up 1 on +2 or +3. I could
Just to kind of help
see,
equal it out.
yeah, to give the duration a little bit more and to get it to where the other songs are. But March doesn't need anymore. Like, it still wouldn't cap your magic haste with one song. You're still Marcadoing on our March most of the time, so I don't really see a reason for them to raise March at all, like the March plus on the hands, because it's exactly where it needs to be without breaking the magic cap and becoming really awkward. And just like if it were any higher, you'd start just really overshooting the magic cap, and it could maybe open up some new avenues. I don't know, but I can see why they didn't do it. I think March is exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah. Um, One of the things I was talking to you about and was kind of the thing I was messing with Lua's a little bit was working on a true shot kind of piece for Rangers and Corsairs, more for Rangers because of the bow aspect. But when I saw the legs for Ranger, I was like, oh, this works so well with what I was doing. Because True Shot, actually, if you stand in True Shot range, it is actually quite a bit of a DPS increase. I know we were talking about it after I had done that a little bit for Mers Ranger. But looking at these legs, you get True Shot 6, Store TP, and critical hit rate, which for the fight we were using the Ranger on, having the crit hit rate while still being in that True Shot range would be super fantastic. And it still has high ranged accuracy and ranged attack with damage taken minus. Like, oh, it's such a great piece.
Yeah, they did a really good job with the Imperium +2. And some of it is probably going to feel lackluster, which I'm kind of happy about.
Of course.
I'm glad. Yes, ninja. But I'm glad that all the pieces aren't just overwhelmingly just boom in your face, and everybody's just going to be running around in full Imperium +2, and it's going to be like the greatest set ever. But it kind of makes me wonder how marginally big +3 is going to be. I mean, if +2 is already looking as good as it does, how much bigger is +3 really going to be?
Yeah, I don't know if they maybe went a little overboard with Empyrean because when Empyrean first came out, we talked about this in our Abyssia episode. People got really upset with Empyrean because they're like, oh, Empyrean's the end all be all set. Like, you don't need anything else. There wasn't any point to playing. Even though I liked that when Empyrean was released, it was kind of done gradually. So, like, not all of your gear was taken over. And for certain jobs, like their Empyrean wasn't as great as other jobs, but it still provided some benefit for what they were doing. That's kind of how I feel about the Corsair one. Like a lot of it is still like, oh yay, I still have all my roll stuff, but there's some pieces that are slightly nicer than what I would be using, and some of them I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay.
some of them are marginal upgrades. Some of them are really strong upgrades. I think there's a decent balance in the way things are looking to it. And again, like, I can't stress enough about all the DT that is on there. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I think that was the same thing we both kept repeating, like when people were talking about it, and we were just like, there's so much DT, there's so much DT. Like somewhere in these Empyrean pieces, there's a lot of DT, unless you're Bard, and then it's basically on like every piece. So much DT on Bard.
But yeah, cool things to look forward to. A whole lot of stuff. We'll be excited for Sortie to come out. I mean, it's going to be definitely a lot of fun to talk about, to be involved with, just to be able to pioneer the new event and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see what people are talking about in the forums, because I know you and I work Monday through Friday, and they may just be like, hey, there's emergency update at like 8 o'clock in the morning, either your time or my time, and neither of us will be able to play, and just seeing all the conversations of people doing the content.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about the community of Final Fantasy XI is it's so driven by the player base and so driven by people sharing strats and people sharing guides. I probably read a different guide every day just to get different ideas.
Yeah, and we opened up those job specific chats in our Discord, and people are starting to utilize them to ask questions so that way other people in the Discord can help, which is answering those questions that maybe like you and I don't know, because I know I don't play any of the Eastern jobs. Sam, Nin,
Monk.
I guess, well, Pup isn't really in there. It's mainly just Sam and Nin are the two Eastern jobs that I just don't play.
Yeah. Monk kind of falls into the same.
That's true. They're on the same set. I mean, I play Puppet Master, so that's why I'm not including it, but yeah. So I can't help.
Just
I'm
throw it to the
terrible.
side, Elise.
I did. I don't wear any of those pieces. Screw that set.
Ow. It's
But
aggressive.
it's been nice seeing those questions coming out and people able to help answer those questions. And most of the time, it's not even from you and I. I know Pat's answered a lot of questions in our Discord to help people out, which has been really nice to see.
Yeah, and the Discord doesn't have to just be for people that are new or returning or looking for answers or wanting to have questions or stuff like that. It can just be for people that want to talk about the game, because that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy talking about this game. I enjoy looking at the Luas, working out different gear sets. Pat and I could probably sit, our DMs are just full of different oddball things that we'd like to do and different oddball strats, and just sitting there talking about the game in a different way and looking at things differently, so it's not just the same old every time.
Yeah, most definitely. And I know like we had mentioned before in our Odyssey group, that we tried different things and different oddball jobs as well too. And having that kind of background with just you and I, it really does help expand the horizon on what certain jobs can also provide as well too.
Yeah, but if anybody else has stuff that they'd like to talk about in this game, or wants to join the Discord, or wants us to have a topic on a podcast, or wants to be in a podcast or anything like that, feel free to send us an email, join us on Discord, come see us on Twitch, comment on YouTube. We try to stay pretty up to date on those comments. So there's all kinds of ways to get in touch with us if you have an idea and you enjoy what you hear.
Now, also, for those that don't know, our Discord is not Asura focused. It is actually open to anybody on any server on Final Fantasy XI. And even if you don't play Final Fantasy XI anymore and you just love the community and just listening to people talk about the game, and maybe it brings you back and you want to play all of a sudden, then you at least have a community that you can talk to in regards to it as well.
But yeah, thanks everybody for chilling with us and talking about the new update. We're excited for the new Sortie stuff. Hope everybody else is too.
For sure, for sure. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully, we get to see you next time. Bye bye for now. Bye.
Later.